Welcome back, everybody. Just do a quick overview of today's video. As the name entails, it's turning the corner. So if you haven't watched the previous videos of the dam, building the dam area, you might want to watch those first. Just give you a better appreciation for what's happening now, but I'll do a quick overview on that. Um, this is the overflow channel right here, which allows the water to drain out of the lake back into the creek, which will be fixed at the end, but that allows um, to have the water drain out without having to pump it. This area of the dam has been built already. That was in the previous videos. So now this is what will be the north side, or what is the north side, but will be what I'm going to be working on now for a long time because it's a long distance down on this side. So this is where I'll be working, and it basically is going to be this corner and getting to about here, I believe, in this video. And all that material was dug up from here. So one of the things that you'll see about 3/4 of the way through the video, and I pointed it out, I had a viewer that asked me, why do I always push into the pile instead of just dumping the material? Why do I push it? And they said it sounds like the machine groans. Um, well, what I'm doing, I can actually push the pile twice as far as I can reach. When I dig up the loose material and it's wet, it's almost like a loose concrete, and it's great for pushing. I can reach out about 33 feet with that machine. Um, I can almost double that distance, and I can also, you'll see in a few places where if you've ever worked with concrete, when you pat it down, you'll bring the so-called cream to the surface, and you can level it off. So it works great with this as well. Brings the water up to the surface, but it levels it out, and then when it dries, it's perfectly level. So you'll see that, and like I said, I pointed out in the video, but that's kind of what you'll see today. So let's get to it.
Okay, let's see if we can get this corner.
This is a different angle, obviously, outside view of the shot you just saw this way. At least you can see it from a different perspective other than inside the cabin. gives you a look as to where we are. You can look down to see where we're going. You'll see Goose Mountain down there. So it gives you an idea of how far this whole site has to be brought up. And you can also see how the material, here can come right out of the lake and be flipped over and not have to be trucked. So I've been lucky so far with having almost enough of what I needed, as you'll see, except for the corner is the only place that I'm probably going to have to actually truck the material down. But other than that, this whole site should be self-sufficient in supplying the material needed, right out of the lake. And as you'll see afterwards, being wet, it actually is much easier to push and spread and level. Here you get a little glimpse of me pushing the material. So instead of just dumping it here, I'm putting it down into the pile and pushing it forward, which actually pushes everything behind it. So I can move a lot more material farther than I could without having to move the machine all the time. Seem like I'm filling up this corner is I'm trying to get the width from this direction so I know how much dirt I have to pull out versus how much I'm gonna have to bring down from Goose Island. And once I figure it out, I'll let you know. Here's another example of me pushing the pile, but also you see how the machine is about 10 feet back from the water edge. What I do is I take it's probably about 8 feet worth of material that I can reach that's on the surface or higher up, and this way when I turn around to cast it back, I'm that much farther away, and then I move forward to the edge after that's gone, and then I dig up the material that's down below where I don't have to worry about the angle of the dirt in front of it as well. But I get all that previous dirt farther back, and then this being the loose dirt, I can push back as we talked about previously. One of the things I do as well, when you see when I'm pulling the bucket backwards as I'm digging, I pull it even farther than I have to. That's what takes a little bit longer. But I'm pulling back even more material that's under the ground, bring it closer forward, so I don't have to stay out. I can move back quicker, so I can get it farther back to where it needs to be. And also, by doing that, I ensure that the bucket is full, which means full of material and not as much water in it, so I don't bring as much water and dump it out to where I'm digging, because too much water out there is no good either, because it then starts to pool underneath me and makes everything soggy and just makes a mess. So that's what I'm doing there, or what I do all along, but I'm just explaining it now. The reason I let go of the controls like that, just if you wondered, I get attacked by flies all day. This time of the year is terrible with all the horse farms around here. There's just so many flies, and they just keep attacking me all day, so that's what that was. And you can see here me poking the bucket teeth down into it. That I'm just poking it down, and that's leveling it out and spreading it over. So that's basically what I'm doing there. That's kind of like what I said about bringing the cream up out of concrete. Um, that's a good example right there. You'll see it a couple more times, I think. And this section here, I think, will give you the best view of how I actually push the material when I'm pushing the pile. If you look on the closest side of the pile here, you'll see how it moves, and it makes it quite easy to move it quite a distance, but I mean double the distance. So I think this gives you a good view of that. This angle here too will give you a good idea of the slope. So you see the level part off to the left, and then you can see where I'm trying to figure out the slope. And you'll see in a future video, I actually end up changing the slope a little bit. I cut it back. I made it bigger than it needed to be. It doesn't really look it in this picture, but you'll see in a future video what I'm talking about, how I cut it back. But that gives you an idea of what I'm doing there. I'm trying to set the slope um, and the width. Here's a look from what I did for today. It's about 2.5 hours. I got a late start because I was cleaning up the bonfire that we had over the weekend and all that stuff, and trying to get caught up on video. So I didn't really start this until about 12:30. So you can see I dug out all this up here, and I wasn't sure how much I would need to leave. I didn't want to keep chasing. I didn't want to keep chasing dirt. I didn't want to keep taking it from over there and moving it over here. I figured I'd just move it directly over. So I guesstimated that. I probably could have gone maybe a little bit. I probably will have a little extra, but I'll just fill that in with the dump truck afterwards. So this area. But not too bad for 2.5 hours. So that's that. And there's a look across. See that? And then you get a good look at Goose Mountain and what was Goose Island. You can see all the geese. Quite a few.
They don't seem phased by it, so I think they'll like it come next year's nesting time.